So again, I bring you something I never knew about before it landed at my house. So Gurgi Paul Man sent this in to me. This is a production knife turned one-off custom. Okay. And I will just put up here right now. Here is a picture of it before it got modified. And this is the actual picture from Gurgi. And then this one, I'll put another picture from the actual website that I took it from, the Aurora Knife and Tool website. Aurora Knife and Tool. It comes in this kind of what is that? Fake fur line zippered pouch. New everyday AuroraKnifeandTool.com. Go check them out. I will put a link in the description to make it easy for you to go check them out. I guess they are. You may have heard of Misheard Knives, Misheard Knife Review. He does some goofy stuff with other reviewers, and if we don't speak properly or people can't understand us, he kind of dubs in some stuff. He's a funny guy. Never met him. I've chatted with him a little bit online, but apparently this is his company. I guess we'll see, but I'm not going to get into all that. We'll get into that at a different time. But this is kind of a trippy knife. It's pretty cool, and they have pre-orders right now. Okay. Pre-order price is $189. Normal price is $199. S35VN titanium with a special new lock. So, multi-deployment. You have a flipper tab. Now remember, this is just started out as a brushed titanium and satin finished S35 VM blade. There was nothing, bare bones, just all monochromatic, if you will. Gurgi sent it out. I don't even know who he sent it to do all the work. Let's just talk about that first. Here, nice, beautiful stonewash blade. Nice hollow grind. Factory hollow grind. Nice Plague Doctor laser engraving. Green anodized. Black anodized. Black anodized. I mean, they did a really good job. Gold anodizing. They even did the pivot color different. Like, they did some really cool work, and it functions really well. Okay? This is not a button lock. I mean, there is a button, but this is what they call the roundhouse lock. It is like it's a partial leaf lock, they call it. And I have an exploded diagram over here to the left in a second I'll pull out. But you can see the lock is on the show side, and it goes over this way, which is atypical, right? Normally on a liner lock, let me see, I got one right here. It is on the left side, the lock side, the clip side, and you push in and you pull back and you close your knife. Well, what does that do? That does put your thumb in the path of the blade closing. It is a potential that the blade closes on your thumb and you get cut. Okay? It's happened. We've all had it happen. Is it the end of the world? On a smaller knife like this? Not really. But on a big 4.5 inch bladed knife with some mass behind it, oh man, you can lose a finger. It happens. So that's why a button lock is really safe, because you're hitting it over here and the blade is closing. You have nothing in the path of travel. Well, button locks are inherently, and I have one here. It is just right here. That's all that's locking it up. And so they're inherently sometimes a little weaker. Okay, so oftentimes they're not used. Anyway, what this one does is you've got the liner, if you will, but it pulls back towards the button. Like, I'm pushing down here with my finger, and it's pulling it to the side, and then it's allowing the knife to close. Kind of trippy. If we look at it from the back side, you can kind of, let me see if I can get a light in here. I don't think I can get the light in there properly and activate the button at the same time. Maybe I can go like this. So there's another lever that goes down to the button. So when I'm pushing the button in, I am pulling the lock towards me and then releasing the blade. Okay, so that's in it, kind of just the overview. But now if we look at the exploded view, it might make more sense. If I can zoom in a little bit here. So you have the button. You have the leaf lock, they're calling it. And this piece right here is attached to the button. So as I'm pushing in here, it's pivoting off of here and pulling the lock backwards. It's kind of cool. In real world practice, it works really well. This is a multi-deployment knife if you're into that sort of a thing. It drops shut, has the flipper tab. You can reverse flick it, and you can front flip it. So if you're into all of that, you can do it. Runs on bearings. They give you a little baggie of extra parts and pieces. So you have extra bearings, you have an extra spring for the roundhouse lock, some hardware, because as you take it apart and put it back together, you might lose a screw. There may have been more in here. Obviously, this has been taken apart. So there may have been some extra screws and other hardware that's not in there now. But all in all, I think it's a cool knife. So you're at 4 5/8 closed and 8 3/16 overall. Even in its stock configuration, they have two versions now. The OG, which is just all plain raw titanium, and the dark truffle. I don't even think I said the name of it. This is the Truffle. They have a dark truffle, which is a black PVD coated stone washed handle with the same satin blade. All right. This one, obviously, we talked about the differences. So 3.48 inch blade, 0.014 behind the edge, S35, weighs in at 4.2 ounces and runs on bearings. I think it's kind of cool. You can get in there to thumb it open, but it's not really comfortable for the thumbing open because you have to kind of really get your thumb backwards and in there to really be able to get it. So I don't recommend that way. But the flipper tab works really great. Feels good in the hand. It works well in the pocket. The laser engraving on this was done exceptionally well. And again, I don't know who did that. I'm sure Guri will see this video and he can comment down below with his thoughts or who did it and why and whatnot. All in all, I think it's pretty cool, and it's a genius lock. It's different for sure. I don't know how I feel about button locks to begin with. Yeah, I just don't know. They're not really my thing. I don't own any, I don't think. There might be one in the storage thing to my left or in the safe. I might have one laying around somewhere. Oh, I do. I think Best Tech gave me a good boy, and I think that's a button lock. So, yeah, it's not anything I carry. Like, I don't carry a button lock, but I don't carry much lately anyway. I have been carrying the same knife at the time of filming for, I think, 231 days. So, and it's a liner lock. Anyway, let's do a couple size comparisons real quick before we let you go with the Sharpie, with the Kubi, which is a straight liner lock, and the Spyderco Delica, because, well, we always kind of pull that out. And the button lock I was showing earlier is from ADV. It's a full custom Pit Boss 3. A little bit bigger than your Truffle, but, you get the idea, right? So yeah, button lock. It's actually a button lock with a safety, which really just shoves a piece behind there so you cannot depress the button. Kind of cool. I'm not sure I dig it, but again, I don't know if I'm a button lock guy anyway. So there you go. Aurora knife and tool. I'll put a link down below. Go check them out. Maybe I'll reach out to them and see if I get them on the EDC hour at some point to talk about their knife, their patches. They've got a bunch of patches and swag stuff and all of that. There is a can't even talk. A Timascus pocket clip, pivot collar, and little, it's a reversible pocket clip, but it has a plate here. So they do have some add-ons that you can get that are Timascus, so it's a little fancy. So yeah, they've got some cool stuff, so go check them out. Thanks a lot, Guri, for sending this in. It's been a pleasure to check it out.